Hi everyone, my name is Sabeen Bilal and I will be presenting Skinner's chapter 14 titled Summing Up for Group 2. The introduction of the chapter basically says that the focus of this chapter is on 20 key statements about behaviorism which Skinner states are wrong. So I'll be going through each statement one by one and explaining it. The first statement says radical behaviorism, unlike methodological behaviorism, does take feelings and states of mind into account. Consciousness is addressed in radical behaviorism and is not ignored. Internal events play an important role in behavior, however, there is no room for mentalism. An observable physical world is responsible for generating contingencies and environments to which an individual responds, and these states of responding become known to others through the labels which the verbal community attaches to these different states of responding. Behaviorism has often been misrepresented as ignoring natural endowments. Behaviors can be shaped but cannot be endlessly altered. People have inherited differences in terms of how quickly they can respond to different contingencies and how quickly they can be conditioned. Genetics play a role, but the environmental conditions and varying contingencies are also responsible for the formation of a behavior. The next point states that behaviorism is often misquoted as oversimplifying the treatment of behavior, treating it very simply as a response to a stimulus. However, this is not the case. If this were true, then majority of individuals would be robots or puppets, simply eliciting responses to stimuli. Stimuli do not directly elicit an operant response, but alter the probability of a response being emitted due to varying environmental factors and contingencies. Statement 4 stated that behavior analysis rejects the existence of higher mental processes. Behavior analysis does not reject the existence of high-level mental processes and investigates the contingencies with attribute toward the existence of these processes. Therefore, it is false to assert that behavior analysis does not heed to the existence of certain higher-level mental processes. Statement 5. According to evolutionary theory, there was selection by survival or survival of the fittest, as we all know. However, according to operant theory, it moved selection from antecedent to the contingencies of reinforcement. So when a person acts, they do so because of the reinforcement being received to act. At this point, a person may be inclined to state that they are acting in a certain way due to the innate feeling to act. This cause and effect of feeling to act is rejected by behaviorism. So, statement 6. The field of human behavior does not appeal to a creative mind. The theory of evolution and operant conditioning both must take mutations into account. The source of new forms of behavior can be traced to different or varying contingencies of reinforcement, which result in the introduction of novel creations by the creative artist, much like a geneticist changes genes to bring about changes in a species. Statement 7 was, the self arises as the result of a product of environmental and genetic histories. Each person is unique, but this uniqueness is inherent in the source and arises due to an individual's interactions with the environment and reinforcement of behaviors, which formulates the development of the self. However, there is no place in the scientific position for a self as a true originator or initiator of action. Statement 8. Behaviorism is often said to be superficial in that it does not analyze or study the depths of what lies in the mind or in an individual's personality. However, behavior analysis studies these by looking outside the skin at the influencing histories and environmental factors that contribute to the development of the behavior that makes up an individual's personality. Statement 9 stated that the science of behavior is unsuccessful at understanding the true nature of man. This is not true because behaviorism studies an individual but based on the actions of each individual, and understanding is derived by studying the relation between a human being, its genetics, actions, and interactions with the external environment. The next point was experimental analysis of behavior has been said to conduct experiments merely with rats. However, the progression is from simple rats to more complex human beings, Animals and human beings have the same basic processes, but they differ in that human beings have a far more complex repertoire. Point 11 was, there is an objection to inferring from animals to human beings and from a lab environment to a real world environment. It is said that human experimentation is flawed because it is conducted in a controlled environment with specific equipment which may not be there in the real world. One cannot control human behavior in the real world. However, based on lab experiments, human behavior can be predicted to a certain extent. Point 12 was, it is said by some that the science of behavior is oversimplified and what it has to say is already well known. Mentalistic explanations are simple, which identify causes of action on the spot and ascribe them to some unknown inner being. It is easy to accuse the science of behavior as being simple because it is hard for individuals to grasp that simple behaviorist explanations can have such deep-rooted consequences. Statement 13 was, behaviorists are accused of worshipping and borrowing from science just to look scientific. However, there is no proof to back this accusation, and furthermore, the experimental analysis of behavior has progressed and developed at a rapid speed as compared with any other science. Point 14. Behavior analysis and its application seems to be little more than the application of common sense. However, if it were all chalked down to mere common sense, then the results could be disastrous, as can be seen in various examples and instances of human life all around us. Point 15. A behaviorist is somehow exempt from the analysis which is being conducted. However, a behavior analyst is also acting when he or she is conducting an experiment and is not removed from the situation. Therefore, for now, can also be considered part of the experiment. The problem with behavior analysis is that it presents an oversimplification of man, presenting an incomplete and dehumanizing picture of man, treating man as a machine, therefore neglecting everything that man is capable of. However, the laws which govern behavior are very intricate, and to say that they are mechanical like a car would be to err. Point 17 says, it has been said that behavior analysis neglects the inherent unique qualities of each individual case. However, each individual is unique in that exposure to different environmental factors and contingencies elicits different kinds of behaviors and knowledge, which can be observed by specialists but can never truly be known. The next statement was that research into behavior is controlling because an experimenter controls behaviors through the manipulation of the environment and varying contingencies. Contingencies may be controlling in a sense. However, to state that all control is aversive would be wrong, because control can be used in various settings to better the lives of individuals. The next point said, what place do terms like abstract and morality have in behavior analysis? To analyze these terms from a behaviorist perspective, these terms need to be separated from the individual, and it needs to be noted that these terms arise from varying social contingencies which arise on a group level. The final statement of contention is that individuals are not interested in behaviors but are interested in feelings and in exploring the feelings of others. However, it must be noted that understanding behaviors in no way diminishes the behavior of one's feelings or the behavior of feelings towards others. So where does the behaviorist's own behavior fall in all this? Skinner states that behaviorists can also be accused of falling prey to mentalistic terms with the use of phrases like "I think." However, this can be avoided by using technical terms, as Skinner himself has done. So under the heading on the positive side, Skinner states that behaviorism is often looked at for its shortcomings rather than for its contributions. And in an attempt to rebut the shortcomings, it may appear that the essence of behaviorism is lost. But the 4 points listed here and shared by Skinner refute this. To conclude, Skinner states that much of behavioral science is in fact not behaviorism in its true sense, and a lot of it is even mentalistic. But this diversity should be viewed as good, as it may eventually result in the creation of an effective behavioral science. He further contends that at the time, behaviorism was given little value, stating an example of a conference in which many specialists were present but not a behaviorist. However, he ascertains that with the right knowledge and understanding, behaviorism has the capacity to solve even the most complex global problems. So here are the two questions. Question 1, which of Skinner's 20 statements do you disagree with and why? As a behavior analyst, how would you convince someone that individuals who are undergoing behavior therapy are not in fact treated like robots? So that's the end. I look forward to the discussion and I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Have a nice day.